Most people believe that growing your own fruit requires a large plot of land, years of waiting, and farming expertise. And with that belief, millions of balconies and terraces remain empty when they could be producing. What no one told you is that there are fruit plants that grow in a pot, produce in months, not years, and demand no more attention than any decorative plant. Today, you are going to discover 8 of them. Plants that you can keep in a small patio, on an apartment terrace, or even next to a sunny window. And that in a short time will give you your own real fruit, without agrochemicals, without waiting decades. Stay until the end because 2 of these plants have histories that go far beyond the fruit itself. One of them traveled with the Spanish conquistadors and changed the gastronomy of 3 continents. And the last one on the list is the one that surprises everyone the most. It grows so fast that the first harvest can arrive sooner than you imagine. Top 1. Dwarf lemon tree. We start with the most widely cultivated potted fruit tree in the world. And with good reason, the lemon tree has over 4,000 years of documented history. Originating in northeastern India, it reached Persia, then the Arab world, and was brought to Europe by the Crusaders in the 10th century. The Arabs cultivated it in interior courtyards, not only for its fruits, but for the perfume of its flowers. Lemon blossom was considered one of the most refined scents of the medieval Mediterranean world and was used in perfumery long before it was used in cooking. Today, the dwarf Eureka variety is the most widely grown in pots worldwide because it combines 3 characteristics that no other citrus has to the same degree. It produces fruit practically all year round without seasonal rest. Its size remains compact between 1 and 1.5 millimeters with minimal pruning, and its flowers perfume the air from meters away during blooming. What many growers don't know is that the lemon tree can flower and bear fruit at different stages of ripening at the same time on the same plant. Buds, open flowers, green fruits, and ripe yellow fruits simultaneously, making it one of the most complete botanical spectacles you can have on a terrace. In a pot, use a container at least 50 centimeters deep and wide with a specific citrus potting mix that is slightly acidic, well-drained, and rich in organic matter. Water moderately and regularly, letting the top few centimeters of soil dry out between waterings. Full sun, minimum 6 hours a day. Fertilize every 15 days during spring and summer with a specific citrus fertilizer, rich in potassium and magnesium. Formative pruning in winter controls the size and stimulates the production of new fruiting branches. If the leaves turn yellow, it generally indicates a lack of iron or magnesium. An application of iron chelate solves the problem in a few days. Top 2. Dwarf fig tree. The fig tree is humanity's oldest continuously cultivated fruit tree. Archaeological remains found in the Jordan Valley show that it was domesticated over 11,000 years ago, before wheat, before barley, before any cereal. It is the first fruit tree that humans decided to cultivate deliberately, and that fact completely changes the way you look at this tree. In ancient Greece, the fig tree was so valuable that exporting it was prohibited by law. Plato called it the tree of philosophy because its figs were the main food of Athenian athletes and thinkers. The brown turkey variety is the most recommended for pots in Latin America because it has a characteristic that distinguishes it from almost all other fruit trees. It does not need a pollinator. It produces fruit autonomously without the need for another fig tree nearby, thanks to a process of Parthenia carpi that botanists identified decades ago. Its figs have purplish-brown skin with a deep red interior and extraordinary sweetness. In a pot, the fig tree grows at a surprising speed. It can gain between 60 and 90 centimeters in height per season under optimal conditions and starts producing fruit from the 2nd or 3rd year. Use a pot at least 60 centimeters deep with well-drained soil. It prefers full sun and tolerates periods of moderate drought better than most fruit trees. Its roots are extraordinarily efficient at seeking moisture in the soil. Water moderately, reducing drastically in autumn and winter when it goes dormant. Pruning in winter when it is leafless controls the size and stimulates the production of fruiting branches for the following season. An important detail, the white latex it secretes when the stems are cut can irritate sensitive skin. Wear gloves when pruning. Top 3. Kumquat. Here is the plant that most surprises anyone who sees it for the first time. The kumquat, whose name in Cantonese literally means golden orange, is the only citrus in the world that is eaten whole, peel included, and there is a fascinating biological reason behind that. Unlike all other citrus fruits, its peel is sweet and its inside is sour, exactly the opposite of an orange or a lemon. This design is no accident. The plant inverted the usual pattern so that animals would consume the whole fruit and disperse the seeds without chewing them. The kumquat was first described in Chinese literature in the 11th century and reached Europe in 1846, brought by the Scottish botanist Robert Fortune, the same man who introduced Chinese tea to India in one of the most famous botanical espionage missions in history. In a pot, it is the best adapted citrus that exists. Its naturally compact size of between 90 cm and 1.5 mm makes it ideal for small spaces, and it produces fruit almost continuously during autumn and winter, precisely when other citrus trees have less production. There is also an advantage that few mention. The kumquat, in full production, loaded with dozens of small bright orange fruits among the deep green foliage, is one of the most decorative plants you can have on a terrace. In Chinese and Vietnamese traditions, it is the most gifted plant during the Lunar New Year, precisely because of that combination of beauty and abundance it symbolizes. Use a well-draining citrus potting mix, full sun or partial shade with good light, and moderate watering to avoid waterlogging. Fertilize monthly with citrus fertilizer. It is one of the most cold-resistant citrus trees. It can withstand temperatures down to 8 degrees Celsius when dormant, making it cultivable in climates that exclude the lemon or orange tree. While you enjoy these plants, I want to tell you about something that can save you a lot of time and money. There is a guide that gathers 30 long-lasting plants selected for their productivity, resilience, and adaptation to small spaces, with a complete profile for each one, including soil, watering, pruning, and potted management. It's called the Resilient Garden Guide. It's not a long course or a technical book. It's straightforward information, ready to use when you need it. If you want to get it, you will find it in the first comment you see when you open the comments section of this video, which is pinned there so it doesn't get lost. Let's continue because plant number 4 has a history that connects 3 continents. Top 4, dwarf orange tree. The sweet orange we know today did not exist in nature. It is an artificial hybrid created in China approximately 2,000 years ago, a cross between the pomelo and the mandarin that Arab merchants brought to Spain in the 10th century, and that Spanish conquistadors transported to the American continent in the 15th century, forever transforming the gastronomy of 3 continents. Today it is the most cultivated fruit tree on the planet. The Valencia variety, developed in the 19th century in California, is the most recommended for pots because it produces exceptionally juicy fruit and maintains a manageable size with regular pruning. Unlike the lemon tree, the orange tree blooms in a single concentrated period, usually in spring, but that blooming is one of the most intense olfactory spectacles in the plant kingdom. Orange blossom was the most expensive perfume in Europe during the Renaissance, and Louis XIV had it cultivated at Versailles in thousands of silver pots that were displayed in the palace halls. In a pot, the dwarf orange tree needs a container 50 to 60 centimeters deep with a specific citrus potting mix. Full sun, minimum 6 hours. Regular watering with lime-free water. Excess calcium blocks iron absorption and causes chlorosis. Fertilize every 15 days in spring and summer with citrus fertilizer. Control pruning in winter keeps the size between 1 and 1.5 mint and stimulates production. Fruit thinning, removing some when they are very small, improves the size and quality of the remaining ones. Top 5. Mulberry tree. Where are you watching us from? Tell us what part of the world you are in as we continue with this list. The black mulberry has a history that few know, and that completely changes how you look at it. For over 5,000 years, it was the most strategically valuable tree in Asia. Without the mulberry tree, there is no silk. Silkworms feed exclusively on its leaves, and the Chinese silk monopoly, which lasted 1,000 years, depended directly on the control of this tree. In the 6th century, Emperor Justinian organized an espionage operation to smuggle silkworm eggs out of China, hidden in bamboo canes. Precisely to be able to cultivate mulberry trees in the Byzantine Empire, and break that monopoly. All that just to have access to a tree. Its black fruits, mulberries, have a flavor that combines intense sweetness with mild acidity and a concentration of anthocyanins and resveratrol that nutrition researchers are studying with growing interest. The same compounds associated with the benefits of dark berries. In a pot, the black mulberry is one of the fastest growing fruit trees in existence. It can gain up to a meter in height per season and start producing fruit from the second year. The only drawback to anticipate, the ripe fruits stain intensely. Be careful with your clothes and the floor around the pot during harvest. Use a large pot, at least 60 centimeters deep, with rich, well-drained soil. It tolerates poor soils better than almost any other fruit tree. Moderate watering, more abundant in summer during fruiting. Prune in winter to control size and stimulate production. Its roots can become aggressive. Always use a sturdy pot and check the bottom regularly. Top 6. Passion fruit. Passion fruit is the only climbing plant on this list and the one that produces fruit the fastest. From planting or transplanting to the first harvest, it can take as little as 6 to 8 months under favorable conditions. It is native to South America, specifically the tropical regions of Brazil, Paraguay, and Argentina, and its name comes from the Guarani word mburucuja. When Jesuit missionaries founded in the 16th century, they were so impressed by the structure of its flower that they called it the passion flower, identifying in each part of the flower a symbol of the passion of Christ, the tendrils as the whips, the stamens as the nails, the petals as the apostles. That history made the passiflora one of the most drawn and engraved plants in 17th century Europe. Its flowers are extraordinarily complex and ornamental, among the most elaborate in the plant kingdom, and its yellow or purple-skinned fruits, depending on the variety, contain an aromatic pulp with vibrant acidity that the juice industry turned into one of the most recognized tropical flavors in the world, a detail that many growers do not anticipate. Passiflora edulis needs cross-pollination to produce well. If you only have one plant, hand pollination with a brush between flowers on the same plant significantly improves the fruit yield. In a pot, it needs a container at least 40 centimeters deep with rich, well-drained soil and a support structure, an obelisk, a trellis, or a fence to climb on. Full sun or partial shade with good light. Regular watering without letting it dry out completely. Fertilize every 15 days during spring and summer with a potassium-rich fertilizer to stimulate fruiting. Prune the stems that have already produced fruit to encourage new productive shoots. Top 7. Dwarf pomegranate. The pomegranate is one of the most universal symbols in human history. It appears in Greek mythology, the pomegranate that Persephone ate in the underworld, which bound her to the realm of Hades for 6 months a year. It appears in the Old Testament as one of the fruits of the Promised Land. It appears on the capitals of the columns of Solomon's temple. It is in the mosaics of Pompeii, in medieval Islamic embroidery, in the coats of arms of Spanish royalty. The city of Granada is named precisely after this fruit. The Nana variety was developed specifically for pot cultivation and is one of the most complete plants in existence in terms of combined ornamental and productive value. It produces intensely orange-red flowers for months, followed by small but completely real fruits, with the same structure of red arils as the common pomegranate. In a pot, it is extraordinarily resistant to heat and drought. Once established, it can go weeks without watering without losing vigor. Use well-drained soil with coarse sand, a clay pot of at least 40 centimeters in full sun. The more sun, the more flowers and fruits. Moderate watering, reducing in autumn and winter. Formative pruning after flowering controls the size and stimulates production for the following year. It tolerates moderate cold, down to 10 degrees Celsius when dormant, making it cultivable in a huge variety of climates. Top 8. Guava tree. And we reach the last one. The one I promised is the most surprising. The guava tree is native to Central America and northern South America, and was one of the first tropical fruit trees that European explorers found and described upon arriving in the New World. Peter Martir d'Anguera mentioned it in his chronicles in 1513 as a fruit with an extraordinary aroma that the indigenous people consumed in large quantities. Today, guava is the tropical fruit with the highest documented concentration of vitamin C. It exceeds the orange by 4 to 5 times in content per 100 gram. A fact that nutritionists have been highlighting for decades, but that the general public remains unaware of. In addition to vitamin C, it contains lycopene, the same antioxidant that makes watermelon red, and a concentration of dietary fiber that surpasses most common fruits. What makes the guava tree especially valuable for pot cultivation in Latin America is its speed of growth and production. Planted from a cutting or a young nursery plant, it can bear its first fruits in just 12 to 18 months, a time frame that no other tropical fruit tree can match under similar conditions. In tropical and subtropical conditions, it can produce 2 harvests a year. Its aroma when ripe, a combination of tropical, floral, and slightly musky, is one of the most intense and recognizable in the fruit world, capable of perfuming an entire terrace from a single plant. In a pot, use a container at least 50 centimeter deep with soil rich in organic matter and good drainage. Full sun is essential. Without enough light, production drops drastically. Regular watering during fruiting, moderate the rest of the year. Fertilize every month with a balanced fertilizer during spring and summer. Pruning after each harvest, reducing the stems that have already fruited, stimulates new productive branches and keeps the size manageable in a pot. It is sensitive to heavy frosts in cold climates. Protect it or bring it indoors during the winter. 8 plants. 8 different ways to have real production in any space, no matter how small. From the lemon tree that perfumes and produces all year round, to the guava tree that surprises with its speed. From the fig tree with 11,000 years of history, to the passion fruit that the Jesuits turned into a religious symbol. From the mulberry tree that sustained the Chinese silk monopoly for millennia, to the pomegranate that decorated Solomon's temples and the gardens of Versailles. What they all have in common is that they do not require a plot of land, they do not require years of waiting, and they do not require you to be an expert. They require the right soil, proper watering, and enough sun. With that, they produce, and producing your own fruit, even if it's in a pot on a city balcony, changes something in your relationship with food and nature that is hard to explain until you experience it. The distance between the plant and the plate disappears, and that has a value that no supermarket can replicate. If you want to have the complete reference of 30 long-lasting plants with all the information for pot cultivation, the Resilient Garden Guide is waiting for you in the pinned comment. And you, which of these 8 are you going to look for first? If this guide has awakened in you the desire to transform your balcony into a productive oasis, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel. We are rescuing the ancestral knowledge and cultivation techniques that the modern world has tried to forget. Plant today to harvest tomorrow. The next secret of nature will be revealed very soon.